Good afternoon. I hope you had a great weekend. The weather was fantastic on Sunday, so it was really a good time to get out and work in the yard a little bit. And I know a couple of you have asked me how we held up during the floods first part of last week, and I'll tell you, it was a little bit spooky. The water from the river came up really pretty fast. The driveway was actually covered in about 4 feet of water. So this was after Pam and Channing left for school about 7:30 that morning, and by 8, I couldn't get out of the house as the river covered the driveway. So I was actually trapped in the house, and they were trapped out of the house, and so we couldn't get in and out of the driveway really for probably about a day and a half. And so we had to access our house through a trail in the woods that we didn't even know existed, but a neighbor told us about, and he let us come through their property to get to the house. But all in all, we really didn't have any damage. The barn flooded, the pickleball court flooded, but all's well. I had plenty of time to get things out of the barn. So really, we came out a whole lot better off than a lot of people did. So we are very thankful for that. And so it's just one of those things that comes with living on the river. 98% of the time, it's great. It's awesome. And the other 2 or 3% of the time, things can get really ugly. So I appreciate those of you who reached out. All right, I know there's been a lot of concern about some of the bank failures that we've seen, in the last couple of weeks, and people have asked how it may be impacting your portfolio. Well, I'll tell you the overall impact of any of our clients' portfolios has been pretty minimal. And it's really one of the reasons that we stress the importance of diversification and frankly, what happened with Silicon Valley Bank out in California is it's why I don't recommend any individual stocks. Most of you by this point have heard my story on losing a bunch of money with Security Bank, that Security Bank stock back in 08, 07, 08. And I know some of my clients, you experienced some of the same things way back then. Back then, I tell the story, the bank stock was typically a $20 to $25 stock. It went to zero. The FDIC came in, took over the bank, and a lot of people lost a lot of money. But those who suffered the most are the people that had a large percentage of their overall net worth in that one company. So Sterling Capital, who's one of our money managers here that we use, they're not running from bank stocks. They still see some potential, and they will continue to do their due diligence and make sure that they're not overexposed to any sector, to any one sector, or certainly not any one company. So they do a really good job of making sure that clients are as diversified as possible. So again, I don't see any reason for panic here. This bank's collapse is really way different than what happened to the whole banking system back in 07 and 08. So again, if you're in a well-diversified portfolio, if there's one company in your portfolio that goes to zero, you're going to have a way lesser negative impact than those folks who've put their entire life savings in one company. It may sound crazy, but I see it all the time. I met with somebody probably a year and a half ago. They've got their entire life savings of several $million tied up in one company. And this was a company they worked for pretty much their entire career. So there's a lot of loyalty and allegiance to this company, which is fine. This company is probably why this person's got so much money. But they know they need to start liquidating and becoming a little more diversified, but they simply can't pull the trigger, and they can't do it. They know what they need to do, but their mind is telling them all the different reasons why they just need to hang on to that stock. So are we headed for another financial crisis like we were in 07 and 08? I haven't spoken to a single credible expert, or heard from a credible expert that said this is anything like 07 and 08. That was a whole different set of circumstances back then. And I certainly don't see that happening again. So I think we're good for now. I mentioned over the last several weeks, maybe even the last couple of months now, about the option that we have for people who have a lot of money sitting in cash. We can now hold that cash on our platform Right now, the yield's a little over 4.5%, steadily been creeping up. So this is a great place for folks to put money that's currently in a CD, or maybe you just sold a property or a business and you got money sitting in a bank, maybe not earning a lot, and you don't really want to tie it up in a CD. Well, you can move the money over to TD Ameritrade. We can open an account, put the money in a money market fund. It's 100% liquid, so you can get to it at any time. But I do want to say this, and I've said this in a couple of emails before. I don't want your emergency fund money over on the TD Ameritrade platform. That money needs to be at your bank. You need to be able to walk into your bank on a Friday afternoon at 2 or 3 o'clock and get to that money if you need to. Because as you know, if you take a distribution from your account at TD Ameritrade, it might take 3, 4, 5 days, or maybe even a little bit longer. So I don't want your emergency fund money on the platform, but it's a great place for other money that's just sitting and not really doing anything. Now I know some of you might be asking, well Lee, I lost money last year, and it would have been great to get 4.5% last year. Should I just go ahead and take my money out of the market, stick it in the money market fund? Well, of course, my answer to that is no. I don't think that's a good strategy. So think about it this way. Of course, markets were down a pretty substantial amount last year. And so far this year, we started to rebound a little bit. Last couple of weeks have been a little bit squirrely, or really kind of the first 2 weeks or so of March, maybe 3 weeks of March. But markets are beginning to trend a little bit in the right direction. So if you take all your money out of the market right now, stick it in cash, it's likely you're going to be on the sideline when markets rebound. When's it going to rebound completely? I've got no idea, and neither does anybody else. But what I do know is that having money in the market, long term, weathering the ups and downs, is what works. It always has, and it always will. When we play the game of trying to get in and out of the market and sort of time what's going on, that's when we're going to make mistakes. So investment discipline is critical. It's really crucial to long-term success. I know nobody likes losing money, and I get it. I don't like losing money either. But if it's keeping you up at night and you can't sleep, then maybe we need to have a conversation and potentially talk about switching gears for you for now. But just so you'll know, I haven't recommended wholesale changes for any of my clients' portfolios based on anything that's going on in the news right now or in the news over the last year and a half. So just sort of keep that in mind as you start to think about this cash option. I touched on this a little bit last month, but I wanted to give you a little bit more details here today. The Retirement Clarity University website is live with resources for our clients as of today. There's also a separate video in the email that you're going to get today. And that video is going to show you how to log in and how to access the information. Last month's video are going to be in there, as well as today's video. We're also going to include several downloads. I know one of them is going to be the 2023 tax chart. So just kind of as a reminder, the whole purpose of this is to have one resource center for our clients to go to access all the information that we think is relevant. Because information is everywhere. It really is, but we want to try to make it as accessible to you and as organized as possible. So we're excited about this. And I'd appreciate it if once you get logged in and check it out for a little bit, if you give me your suggestions and your feedback, because we want to make sure that we do everything that we can do to make this a great experience for you. And as a final reminder, I wanted to give you some information to just remind you how you can connect and contact with our office. If you've got any client service requests, things like a beneficiary update, an address change, a phone number change, anything like that, please call the office and talk to either Don or Tracy. They can certainly help you with that. Or you can email them at clients@jlperkinswealth.com. Now, we won't take distribution requests via email, so if you do need a distribution, call the office for that. But if there's anything else that you need, use that email address, because that goes to everybody in the office. I don't want an email that you send to somebody sitting in an inbox if they're not in the office that day. So this is going to eliminate that. We've had it for a while now. So again, clients at jlperkinswealth.com. I get between 125 and 150 emails a day, so I don't want you to send me an email saying that you need money because I might not see it for a couple of days, and so this will certainly help. And of course, if you need to meet with me, you can call the office and get on my calendar pretty much, within a few days, or if you just want to have a conversation with me and talk briefly about anything, you can go to the website www.talkwithlee.com. You can set up a phone call there. Again, we're trying to make things as easy as possible for you to connect with us and give you a variety of different ways to do that. So anyway, that's it for today. Sorry to ramble on and go a little bit long today. As always, we appreciate you. We appreciate the trust that you've placed in our firm, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.